The wind carries sand up move at the pace of cattle grazing under the sun. This is a story about memories, culture, and love. It is a story of my uncle, Mudi Jallo, and how our family, ran that event, that even when the mind forget, the heart can still remember. This is the story of my uncle, Mamadou Jallo. In the southern desert of Mauritania, the wind carries sand across open plains, and life moves at the pace of cattle grazing under the sun. This is a story about memory, culture, and love. It is a story of my uncle, Mamadou Jallo. Our family learned that even when the mind forgets, the heart can still remember. Globally, Alzheimer's disease is one of the most significant public health challenges. By 2050, over 150 million people are projected to be living with a dementia, with the largest impact in low and middle income countries. The man who couldn't remember every lineage in the village started forgetting familiar faces. His prayers, once recited with precision, became tangled. To understand the strength of losing memory, you must first understand the man, not just an old elder of the village. He was the library of our village. For decades, he settled disputes, guided herders, and taught the younger generations the principles of Fulani cultures: patience, dignity, and devotion. The impact of cognitive decline. Slowly, the anchors began to drift. At first, the changes were subtle. We almost missed them. He would misplace his prayer beads. He'd forget where the goats were tied. Then the confusion grew. Some days he would wander toward the dead shore of his path home. We, his family, whispered excuses to comfort ourselves. We said maybe he's just tired, or it is a heat. He didn't want to we didn't want to admit that the man who knew everything, was beginning to know nothing. In our village, illness is rarely understood through biology. Without a medical name for what was happening to our uncle, fear took over. Some elder delivered believed my uncle had been touched by jinns that can cause confusions. Other whispers, of course, whispered that he was cursed or that he needed for spiritual cleansing. Many simply resigned themselves um, to it, calling it old age. Because we didn't understand Alzheimer's as a medical condition, our reaction was silence and shame. We hid his struggles, and in doing so, we isolated him. In Mauritania, faith is woven into daily life. Families turn to their imam, who remind them that caring for elders is a sacred duty as Muslims. Spiritual practices, reciting Quran, praying together, creating a calm environment. The environment became sources of comfort, not fear. Religion did not replace medical understanding, but it strengthened patience, compassion, and acceptance. Understanding illness, how our village understood it, what was the perspective in the village. In the Fulani village, illness is not merely a physical ailment. It is often interpreted through spiritual belief. Elders are respected for their wisdom, and their interpretation can significantly influence how health issues are perceived and managed within the community. Accepting aging. Many villagers consider the decline as a natural part of aging, further complicating the understanding of condition like Alzheimer's disease. This acceptance can hinder the recognition of medical issues, lending families to rely on traditional interpretation. Access to healthcare is also a major issue. The nearest clinics is miles away. Diagnosis tools almost non-existent. The role of mobile healthcare workers. Since the nearest clinics is miles away, the governments often send health clinics workers to visit nearby villages and examine the people. Our first hope arrived in the form of such services. The healthcare worker sat us down as a family, and he finally gave us a name: Alzheimer's disease. He explained this was a condition of the brain, not a spiritual punishment. He gave us tools to keep a routine, use familiar objects, and ensure his safety. For the first time, we had a path forward. But medicine was only a half of a cure. Faith filled us for the rest. Our Imam reminded us again that caring for our elders is our Islamic duty. We realized that religion didn't need to replace medical understanding, it could strengthen it. Inter- Integrating science with tradition. Scientific approach of Alzheimer's. In the context of the Fulani village, science helps to identify Alzheimer's disease as a cognitive disorder that requires medical attention and understanding. When it's come to the spiritual perspective, traditional illness is often interpreted through spiritual beliefs. Spiritual practices such as praying reinforce community bonds and faith in the caregiving journey. Today, my uncle Mamadi Jallo still walks through the village he loves. Sometimes he's unsure where he's headed, but he's never alone. His family guides him through and protects him and honor the man he once was. Alzheimer's may challenge his memory, but cannot erase the bond and of a community. My hope is that by sharing this story, more Mauritanian families will learn the signs early, seek support, and replace fear with understanding. We have learned the most important lesson of all. When the minds forget, the heart still remembers.